Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Trey Gowdy, and it's Sunday night in America. President Trump hit the pause button on tariffs for 90 days. How many deals can be reached in that window, and will the world rethink tariffs in the process? There are myriad reasons for tariffs: revenue, protection, less consumption, negotiation. The markets don't like new tariffs because markets don't like change. Markets like money, not fairness.
Inflation's dropping. Americans have more money, and the country has more money. You know, we've been making $2 and $3 billion a day the last couple of weeks. We didn't make that ever, and we're making a lot of money. And then, to be nice, I lowered the tariffs on everybody. But we've been making a lot of money, and it's always been the other way around. Other countries, in particular China, was making a lot of money.
There's also political risk. Increased domestic manufacturing may bode well for the party in power, but higher prices and lower 401ks may have dire political consequences. Will Congress insert itself into the tariff debate or let the executive branch handle it all by itself? Joining us is Senate Banking Chair and Finance Committee member Tim Scott. Welcome, Mr. Chairman. I don't envy Scott Bessent. Negotiating with China is different from negotiating with Canada or Great Britain, but he has to do it all within 90 days, right?
Yeah, Congressman, you hit the nail on the head. Scott Bessent has a full plate. The good news is he's up for the task. But let's remember, these 90 days is about a generation of economic dominance for America. Scott Bessent, following President Trump's orders, will make a very strong deal that will allow American supremacy economically to continue. That's what this is about. It's not about 90 days or 9 months. It's about a generation of success for hard-working Americans to have access to markets, especially in China. Remember, Trey, China, they lie, they cheat, and they steal, and they often compete against us with our own products and services once they copy it.
All right, Mr. Chairman, speaking of China, let's listen to the Secretary of Commerce together, and I'll ask you about it on the other side.
Well, they are the ones who've been playing hardball all along. You know, President Trump said we have a $1.2 trillion trade deficit. This is the largest trade deficit of any country in human history. $1.2 trillion we're trading away from ourselves. Donald Trump, the president, is calling them out. He's taking them on. He says, look, you're not treating us right. You're always attacking us. It's time for us to take it head on, fix it, and resolve it, and take care of America. So he's called it out. I think it's exactly right what he's doing.
All right, Chairman, if you and I were to ask the founders, our founding fathers, they would say Congress probably should play a role in tariffs. Do you see the legislative branch asserting or inserting itself, especially with the midterms on the horizon, although you do have a full plate with the other parts of the Trump agenda?
Yeah, I'm especially interested in the midterm elections without any question. I think we're already playing a role. I think about my anti-fentanyl legislation, President Trump's actions against Mexico and Canada from a perspective on tariffs. Great compliment to my legislation that wants to sanction and freeze assets of the Mexican cartels. How do you get their attention? Tariffs actually have been very effective. So we should continue to play a significant role while we complement the president's objective of keeping Americans safe but also alive. 70,000 Americans every single year lose their lives because of fentanyl. And the precursors, they come from China. And so President Trump taking targeted action is necessary.
All right, Chairman, cutting is hard. Cutting the size and scope of government is hard, which is why it's so rarely done. At the same time, there are groups that are perhaps inadvertently impacted. I mean, sickle cell anemia, for instance, rarely impacts white people. And yet President Trump did historically well with voters of color. So whether or not we like it, people see race, and black students may need black teacher role models. So how should these cuts be handled effectively but judiciously?
Well, there's no question that the promises that we heard on the campaign trail should be the promises that we keep in office. President Trump, I was there when he said to the minority communities, 39% or so African Americans voted for President Trump. He thanked them and he said he would never forget. Remember, President Trump is the president that made HBCU funding permanent for the first time. And at the exact same time, we can celebrate the success of the DOGE cuts. We can find billions upon billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse while maintaining our integrity and keeping our commitments to every vulnerable child in America, be they attending an HBCU or become a Gamecock. The fact of the matter is that the American dream has to work for the poorest American just like it does the wealthiest American.
Chairman Tim Scott speaking to the Gamecocks from the great state of South Carolina. Thank you for joining us on a Sunday night. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. God bless.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.